It makes us fart, if we don't have good lactobacilli to break them down. So soaking overnight or putting a pinch of this into beans, if you're soaking them overnight for a day or two, it helps set up the prebiotic to be more bioavailable. It even makes the protein more bioavailable for digestion. But the raffinose oligosaccharide is a powerful prebiotic that feeds like the flora that belong at our mucosal level. Yeah, so we can't sample the mucosa, sadly,
Hmm.
unless we go in and biopsy. So we don't have any gold standard. I only can go through proxy, looking at a stool kit. There's so many stool kits out there. They're all great. GI map is one we use a lot of.
Hmm.
You can kind of do a proxy, but it's only telling you what's in the stool, not the mucosa, which
Right.
we really want because that's the flora that is protecting that one cell layer of the microvilli before the bloodstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's the interface because that's how we absorb nutrition so quick because it's going immediately into our bloodstream. It's literally an interface, like immediate interface. Of,
And I've heard so much from different practitioners and people out there that that is such an overlooked part of the equation. You have to look at what the microbiome, but you got to look at the mucosa, the permeability, the gut permeability, all those things. Like you're
yes.
saying, this is such an important single cell. It's the size of, tennis. It's where everything happens, the absorption, all these things that's really important too, right? Um, so, what are the best ways that you've seen without getting into true personalization and knowing someone's, different lab parameters that we can improve on that area, the mucosa within the gut?
Yeah. So I mentioned the leaky gut protocol. We can seal that with some external supplements,
Hmm.
until we get enough butyrate production at that level, the mucosal level, we can take tributyrin as a
Okay.
supplement. Yeah, many will, resist digestion in the stomach and make it to the small intestines, so we can heal. Yeah, so we'll pump the dose. It's basically a pharmaceutical dose, like
Hmm.
so tributyrin, 8 caps, even twice a day, 8 twice a day. And then we do SPM because it just brings inflammation down. It stops the cytokine storms that are leading to ulcers at the mucosal level. The pathogenic flora, we want to start weeding them because in the meantime, while they're thriving there, because of the lack of regulation and the guardianship, of these really kind
Hmm.
flora, they go kind of crazy. And it's like a bad pharmacy. They're making all these pro-inflammatory chemicals. They're carcinogenic. H. pylori is literally a carcinogenic microbe. We know
Hmm.
that. But there are also good species of H. pylori. We want to shift them there, and we have to bring its allies in, and then we know, okay, then it's really happy. Like CAG A plus strain of H. pylori, we know it's a really happy, generally good protective flora for like prevents asthma. It's associated with reduced adenocarcinoma actually, and many other benefits, less GERD. But then there's other
Hmm.
species, they go crazy because they don't have the allies there that keep them kind of in check. So they're just trying to, keep their territory and not get squeezed out when they're missing their allies. So we want to like kind of just bring those burden down. And then a fourth actually. So the third is larazotide. The fourth part of our leaky gut protocol, it's actually mega IgG immunoglobulins. So as you
Hmm.
know, for like snake bites or long haul COVID, we'll do like IVIG, immunoglobulin through intravenous. This is the pill form. And the pharmaceutical dose is quite a lot. You can get a prescription, but we do Microbiome Labs. It's a great product. There are other ones out there as well. It comes in powder or pills, and we'll do like again eight capsules once a day or twice a day, and that'll quickly like quench a lot of like inflammation, bind up some co-infections and viruses, just to allow like this area to kind of cool down. When it cools down, then the cell microvilli and the cell wall, the cell mucosa layers all can heal really quickly,
Hmm.
especially if we bring in their fun friends. These
Hmm.
regulate and send the right, chemokines and signals to like heal, like keep
Hmm.
everything shut. No zonulin. Let's like bring it all down. And the best thing is, this is our brain. They also make serotonin,
Hmm.
healthy
Yeah.
levels, and then they can get stored in the enteric nervous system. Sometimes there's bidirectional communication, I think, to the brain, but generally not. But we need these. That's why people are so crazy. They're so anxious. They're so
Yeah.
bipolar. Yeah, but once they start our protocol, especially our gut reset, they're just feeling great. They tell me like, "Oh my gosh, Grace, I used to have a sugar addiction or porn addiction or whatever addiction. I don't
Hmm.
have it anymore after the protocol. Have you heard that?" I'm like, "Yeah, all the time." Their bodies are just trying to self-soothe. They're not getting enough GABA. So we have, you know, the production of GABA comes from species like this as well. It's very balancing. We even had like neuroatypical folks or children. They just do like a few capsules, or, you know, actually they can get up to even a tablespoon quicker than most adults. And they start making eye contact. They triple their
Mm,
vocabulary. They're just becoming more and more neurotypical. This is our nervous system, really.
right.
And it weighs almost as much as our brain. Our microbiome literally weighs about 2 kilos, like almost as much as the human
Mm,
brain. Yeah, but
yeah.
we neglect it. We ignore it. We think it's a black box, but we know so much about it. And that's what I like to share for people. You know, we should have the keystone flora, the ABCs. And the C's are the Clostridioides. So A is Akkermansia bis for the bifidos. C is Clostridioides. These are the butyrate makers. And there's one that's really found in, you know, a lot of longevity people is Eubacteria lamosum. It's like 18, 17-fold higher in centenarians. And what it does is one thing we know it does, probably does a whole bunch of hosts of things, but it converts like good citrus, you know, chemicals and alkaloids into like super powered
Mm,
anti-inflammatory for longevity variants. And people with cancers don't even have that species, you know. But you know, it's enriched in centenarians, some genetically, I think, enriched, but I think it could be from their diet even, you know, they're eating foods that promote it. And if you look at centenarians, they have great lifestyles. They're so tied to their community, right? There's